this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little cross that I'm calling the elegant cross. Now, I have made a set of earrings and a pendant. They are all the same size. It's big enough to where it makes a decent sized pendant, so I didn't feel that I needed to enlarge the pendant at all. So I just put the pendant on a jump ring and chain, and of course ear wires for the earrings. And let me pick one up so you can see what it looks like against my skin. They turned out really, very pretty. And this is how they hang, like so. They look really nice on. They're just really pretty. Anyway, that's what we're going to make today, and let's go ahead and look at what we need for this project. Okay, for this project today, you'll need 15 seed beads. This is a Toho, and it is galvanized aluminum silver tone. Then you'll need 8 seed beads. This is also a Toho. It's permanent finish matte silver. Then you'll need 11 seed beads, which I am also using a Toho, and this is metallic bronze. Then you'll need 3mm, 4mm, and 6mm bicones. All three of these are Swarovski. This is a rose, this is a fuchsia AB, and this is a fuchsia. You will need 2 ear wires, and I'm using a copper tone French wire. If you're going to make the pendant and the necklace, you'll want a toggle or some kind of clasp, a jump ring, and some chain. You will also need some thread. I am going to use 8-pound Nanofil today. I'm using it crystal, or clear mist is what it's called, and a size 10 beading needle. Measure about 3.5 feet of thread for each cross. It's a little bit extra, but it's easier than struggling with a really short piece, and it's difficult to add thread to these particular pieces. So make sure that you have at least 3.5 feet measured onto your needle for each cross that you make, and we'll go ahead and get started. To start this cross, we are going to pick up onto our needle 8 seed beads. Now, if you've been watching my last tutorials, you will realize that this is a similar base unit that I've been using in a couple of my last tutorials, but I made a whole bunch of stuff out of this base unit, so I just thought I'd share them. I'm going to bring these 8 seed beads down to the bottom of my thread, or the end of my thread, and I'm going to leave a couple of inches to hold on to so that my beads don't slip off. Also, because we're not going to secure this. Now, once you have brought them down, go into the first 2 you put on the tail side, and go through the first 2 8 seed beads. Hold on to those 2 8 seed beads and your tail thread. Push your needle through and pull your beads into a circle on your thread like so. Then you are going to pick up 2 11 seed beads. Now, like I said, we're not going to secure this, so you're going to have to hold on to your tail and your beads as you work. Now, we were coming out of these 2 beads here. We're going to pick up 2 8-ohs. We're going to pick up 2 11-ohs and then go through the next 2 8-ohs, like so. Now, I do not suggest that you put the 11-ohs on between the beads first. It does not work well. It doesn't hold the shape well. So do it this way instead of improvising and trying to do one step. Now we're coming out of these 2 8-ohs. We're going to pick up 2 11-ohs. Go through the next 2 8-ohs. Do not pull tight. Just pull them into place. We want to leave some slack in the thread at this point. Pick up 2 more 11-ohs, go into the next 2 8-ohs. Pull them down into place. And sometimes the thread twists and you have to untwist it and get them to lay correctly. Now we are coming out where our tail is. Give yourself a little bit of slack. If you've pulled it tightly, make sure that you have a little bit of slack, and then Just hold on to your tail still, hold on to your beads, and go into the next 2 8-0 seed beads. And as you're going through those 2 8-0 seed beads, go through the first 11-0 that you put on. Here you can give it a little tug, not tight, just enough to where it's nice and neat. Continue to hold on to your tail and your beads. Make sure you have a little slack. You will see a little piece of thread underneath the 11-0s. That's okay. We're going to cover that up. So pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this 11-0 seed bead here. I'm going to get just a little closer. You're coming out of this 11-0 seed bead here. You're going to go into the 11-0 here, and then go through the next 2 8-0 seed beads also, and the next 11-0. Pop these down on top like so. Turn your piece, and you're coming out of these 2 11-0. You can tighten it by pulling on your tail a little bit too to maintain your shape, but don't get it too tight. Pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this 11-0, go into the next 11-0, the 8-0s, and the 11-0 after them, and pull. Make sure your thread doesn't twist, because it will. Bring them down so they lay nicely like so. Again, you're coming out of the 11-0, pick up 2 11-0s, go into the next 11-0, and into the 2 8-0s and the 11-0 after them. Pull them down, untwist your thread, and lay them out like so. Give your tail a little tug, and again, still maintain some slack in your line here. Pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this 11-0, go into this 11-0, the 8-0s behind it, and the 2 11-0s behind that. Pull these down, untwist your thread. Sometimes it gets a little bit more twisted than other times, just to drive you crazy. This one is really being stubborn, but I am just as stubborn, so there we go. I won, haha. Now I'm pulling on my tail thread a little bit just to bring all this into alignment. And I'm coming out of my 11-0 here. I'm going to pick up 2 11-0 seed beads, and I'm coming out of this one. I'm going to go into the one right next to it and exit that one. I'm going to put my thumb over it just to hold it into place and bring my beads down. Straighten my beads out, and then I'm going to cross my thread over. I'm going to go into, I'm coming out of this bead now, I'm going to go into the bead right across from it, and the bead on top of that one, right here. And I'm going to pull. Make sure that it's nice and neat. I'm going to give my tail thread one more little tiny tug. Then, as we do this, it starts to tighten. The tail doesn't have to be pulled so much, but until we're a little ways around, you may have to do that a couple times. Pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. We're coming out of this side of the 11-0. We're going to go into the 11-0 next to it and exit that 11-0. Put your thumb over the top and pull these beads down gently. Straighten them out. Give a little tension on your line, and then go up through the top. Now you should have 4 sets of herringbone stitch. I'm crossing over, I'm going up through both of the beads here. I'm trying to get past my tail. There we go. And then I'm going to give a nice little tug. And I'm going to tug my tail a little bit. And here I have 4 sets of herringbone. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm then going to pick up 2 15-0 seed beads onto my needle, and a 4mm bicone crystal, and 2 15-0 seed beads. I am coming out of this 11-0 seed bead here. I am going to go down into all 4 11-0s on this side. Make sure you don't miss any because they're at an angle. Go through all 4 of them and pull these beads down. Hold your thumb and finger over the herringbone stitch and just pull this down and arrange it to where the bicone crystal falls down between the 15-0 seed beads, like so. And then go into the 8-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this 11-0, go into the 8-0, go into the 2 11-0s here. Exit. You're going to tighten your crystal now. So as you pull up through these 2, arrange your crystal and tighten it. And as you do your herringbone here, you will set the thread so that that doesn't move around much more. Just make sure it looks good before you begin your herringbone here, and do 4 sets of herringbone. We already have 2, so we will do 2 more. Pick up 2 11-0 seed beads, go down into the 11-0 next to the one you're exiting from, and exit that 11-0 and pull your needle through. Pull your beads down until they lay nicely, like so. Cross your thread over, go up into the bead next to where you're coming out here, and the bead on top. Pull your thread through and give it a little tug. Again, pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this one, go into the one next to it, pull your beads down. Arrange them. Go back into the bead next to it, next to the one you're exiting from, and the bead on top, like so. Now we have 4 sets of herringbone. Pull your thread through, give it a little tug, pick up 2 15-0 seed beads and a bicone crystal and 2 15-0 seed beads, and then you will make sure that your herringbone looks good, there's no excessive thread or anything showing, and then you're coming out of this one, go down into all 4 on the other side, and the 8-0s, and exit. Pull this down. As you do so, you have to arrange the crystal so that it falls between the 15-0 seed beads. Like so. Then you're coming out of your 8-0s. You're going to go up into the 11-0s here. Sometimes it's easier to go up into them as you're coming out of the 8-0s because it's kind of hard to get to them, but you can do it. Come up through. Now, I want you to make this arm exactly the same. Make 4 sets of herringbone, put your crystal on, sew through the 8-0s and the 11-0s here, and we'll be back. This arm will be longer than these 3 arms. So we'll come back and do that one together. Go ahead and make another arm and we'll be back. Okay, so I have made my 3rd arm here. Now we're going to make the bottom of the cross. This will be the top where the 3 short ones are, and this is going to be the bottom of the cross. So we're going to make it a couple units longer. Now I've made this arm here. I pulled through my 8 O's and my 2 11 O's and adjusted my bicone crystal down just as I did on these two. And now I am coming out of this 11O seed bead here. I have 2 sets of herringbone. I want to end up with 6 sets of herringbone. So this time, instead of making 2 more, we're going to make 4 more stitches. So we're coming out of this side, we're going to go into this side here. And your tail is here too, so it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver around, but if you can just kind of hold it out of the way, I don't want to cut it yet. Now we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into the one right across from it, go up through the 2 beads on top of there, and pull. And again, pick up 2 11O seed beads, and coming out of this side, go into the one next to it, exit, pull your thread through. Arrange your beads. Cross your thread over, go into the bead next to the one you're coming out of and the one on top of it. Now we have 4 sets. Let's make 2 more. Pick up 2 11O seed beads, go into the bead next to the one you're coming out of, pull the thread through, arrange your beads, cross over to the bead next to the one you're coming out of, go into the one on top of that one also, and pull. Do this slowly and very controlled, because otherwise you're going to end up with a big sloppy mess. So make sure everything is a nice controlled, clean movement as you do this. Pick up 2 more, so I've got 2, 4, 5. Pick up 2 more. You're coming out of this one, go into this one. Pull. Cross over to the one next to the one you're coming out of and the one on top of it. Give your thread a tug to ensure your tension, and then pick up 2 15O seed beads and a bicone crystal, excuse me, and 2 15O seed beads, like so. Coming out of this side, come into this side, and all 6 11O seed beads. Just go through them slowly. Then you can also go through the 8O's and exit the 8O right here. Pull these down very slowly and easily. Arrange your crystal. Make sure it's as neat as you can get it. You can tug on your tail a little bit to make sure everything has maintained its nice shape. And then we're coming out of these 8O seed beads right here. So to set our crystal and our last stitch, we're going to pull the thread to the top of the beads here. We are going to pick up a 15O, a bicone crystal 4mm, and a 15O onto the needle. So this is what I have. I am coming out of this side of my 8O's. I'm going to go into the opposite side of the 8O's and go through both of them again. So I'm just making a circle around them. I'm going to pull my thread through, like so. I'm going to turn my piece. Make sure this is nice and tight, has very good tension. Pick up an 11O seed bead. You're coming out of the 8O's here, you're going to go into the 8O's here and place this 11O between them in this gap here. So pick up your next 2 8O seed beads, pull that 11-0 down, pop it into place, give it a little bit of tension, and then pick up a 15-0 seed bead, a bicone crystal, a 15-0 seed bead. You're coming out of this side of the 8-0s, going to the opposite side of the 8-0s, and pull your thread through. Make sure it has good tension. Pick up an 11-0, excuse me, and then go into the next set of 8-0s and pull that 11-0 you picked up in between the gap there. Like so. I'm going to turn my piece, I'm going to give it a little bit of tension, and I'm going to pick up a 15-0, a bicone crystal, and a 15-0. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm coming out of this side of my 8-0s, I'm going to go into the opposite side, and I'm going to pull my needle through. Like so. And this is what you should have so far. Now, pick up an 11-0 seed bead. And again, go from this set of 8-0s into this set of 8-0s right here. Pull the 11-0 down, pop it into place, pick up a 15-0, a bicone crystal, and a 15-0, like so. You're coming out of this side of the 8-0s, go into the opposite side of the 8-0s, and just the 8-0s. Don't pick up any 11-0s in the herringbone there. Pull this down into place. Give it a little tug and place your last 11-0 seed bead. So pick up an 11-0 onto your needle and go into the next set of 8-0s. I want you to exit to the other side of the 8-0s, if possible. So I'm coming in through this side and I'm exiting the other side. And I'm going to pull this 11-0 seed bead into place if it quits arguing with me. Pull it into place, like so. Turn your piece over. Now what we just did is going to be the back of our cross. Now we're going to work on the front. So what we are going to do is we're going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead. We're coming out of these 8-0s. We're going to go into the next set of 8-0 seed beads. We're going to pull the 11-0 in between the sets and tighten it, like so. Try to keep your piece as straight as you can as you're doing this. Just keep arranging it so that when you're finished it's nice and neat. Pick up another 11-0. You're coming out of these 8-0s, go into the next set. Give it a tug so that it pops down between the 8-0s. And again, 11-0 and into the next set of 8-0s here. Pull it into place. And one more time, pick up an 11-0 seed bead, sorry, I'm trying to grab my tail, and go into the next set of 8-0s. This 8-0 is kind of sticking up from the other side, so I'm going to push it back, and I'm going to go through this set of 8-0s here. And I'm going to give this a nice tight tug. And this is what you should have. And we're going to sew around this one more time. So go through the 11-0 and the 8-0s next to it. And this can be difficult because all the other beads want to get in the way. Just take your time, pull it through. Now I'm going to get rid of my tail, just because it's in the way. I'm not going to cut it completely down, I'm just going to cut it down enough to where it's not in my way. And I'm going to continue sewing around my 11-0s and 8-0s on this side. So I'm going to go into the next 11-0, the next set of 8-0s, pull tight, the 11-0 and the next set of 8-0s, and pull tight. And then I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to go from here to here and then also up to this one. So I'm where I need to be to do my next step. So we're going to go around 1.5 times basically. I'm going to go through this set. Do not skip doing this. If you do, your piece is not going to have the strength that it needs, and it's not going to have the form that it needs. Now I'm coming out of this set of 8-0s. I am now going to go into this 11-0 seed bead here. Now I know I'm in the proper position because my long arm is on the opposite side from where I'm coming out. So I want to make sure you could either come out of this one or this one, but you want to make sure you're on either one of those so that when we place our center crystal here, it is vertical and in the right position. So now I'm coming out of this 11-0 seed bead here. I'm going to pick up a bicone crystal, one of my 6mm. I'm going to get just a little bit closer just so you can see what I'm going to do. I've picked up my large crystal. I'm on this side of this 11-0. I'm going to go into the same side on the opposite 11-0. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull this down and into the center of my piece, and it should fit perfectly. Now I'm coming out of this side of the 11-0. I'm going to go back into the crystal and pull my thread through. Now I'm going to go to the other side of the 11-0 from which I started. So I started coming out this side. I'm going to go into this side of this 11-0 so that it makes a full circle and it's supported on both sides. Now I'm coming out of this 11-0 seed bead. I'm going to pick up 3 15-0 seed beads onto my needle, like so. And I'm going to go from this 11-0 to this 11-0 and pull these seed beads down against my crystal. I'm going to pick up 3 more 15-0 seed beads and do the same thing again from here to here. And we'll just work all the way around the crystal doing this. Okay, so I have a 15-0 that's caught. Hang on a second here. Yeah, so I have to get a different 15-0. Sometimes size 10 beading needle can be large for the 15-0s, especially the size 10s I bought last time. They seem to be fatter on the end than usual, and I have not been real happy with that. But so I'm going to slide these down first to test them, and then I'm going to go into my next 11-0. Like so. Then I'm going to pick up 3 more 15-0 seed beads. Slide them down my needle. Yep, they will go down. And go into the next 11-0 right here. I hope I'm staying in frame. I have not been watching, so let me back off a little now that you know what I'm doing. I'm going to pick up 3 more 15-0 seed beads. I apologize if I was out of frame, but I'm just going around from 11-0 to 11-0 putting 15-0s in place. If you did not see it clearly, that's all I'm doing. Now I'm going to go into my last 11-0 seed bead right here. Now I'm going to sew around all of these one more time just to secure them. So I'm going to go into these 15-0s here. Into this 11-0. Into the 15-0s. You get the picture, just all the way around. Doing this ensures they'll stay in place as we do our next step. So I'm going to call that good because they look good and they look tight. And I'm going to start my embellishment of crystal here. So I'm going to go into this 11-0 seed bead right here. And then I'm going to go up these 4 11-0s here. So this can be difficult. Get your needle underneath that first 11-0 and go up through all 4 of them, like so. Now this is a short arm, so we're only going to use 2 pieces of crystal to embellish it. When we get to the long arm, we'll use 4. But right now we're in the short arm, so we're going to pick up 2 pieces of 3mm bicone crystal, like so. We're coming out of this side of the 11-0s, excuse me. Now we're going to come down into this 11-0 here again. And we're going to pull this into the center, like so. Turn your piece and go back into the bicones. So we're coming out of the 11-0 in the center, go back into the bicones right here, both of them. And pull your needle through. Hold those bicones in place, otherwise they're going to go all over the place. This has to be on here very tight or you're going to see a bunch of thread. So pull a nice tension on this. And now we're going to go back into the 11-0 seed beads, but we're going to go into the other column. So we're attached to this column on this side. Let me get you close. You can see we're attached to this column on this side. We're going to go down into this column now, all 4 of them. And they're at funny angles, so just work your way through carefully and pull through that column. Pull tightly. And then you are going to sew through this 11-0 seed bead again, here. And make sure it's very tight. Now under magnification you may be able to see the little tiny threads here, but to the naked eye they're really not obvious at all. So don't worry about it too much. And then we're coming out of this 11-0. We're going to go through these 3 15-0s here. pull the thread through, go into the 11-0 in the center here, and do the same thing with our crystals. So let me get through this 11-0 here. Pull my thread through. Then I will go up the column of all 4 11-0s. So I have to get my needle at the right angle here to get into the hole of this bottom one, and then I will just slide up all 4 of them and exit the top right there. Pull my thread through, make sure there's no slack, and I will pick up 2 bicone crystals. And then I will go through the 11-0 seed bead here on the same side that I have my thread coming out of the column. So I'll go through that side of the 11-0 right there. I'm sorry, I'm still getting over a cold, so I apologize, but my throat is a little scratchy and it happens. There. Now I'm going to go back up through my bicone crystals. Put my thumb on top of them and pull my thread through. Then I will arrange them so that they are right where I want them to be, like so. Then I will go through the other column. So I attached to this column already. I'm going to go into this column here of my herringbone. And I'll come through all of those 11-0s. As I do this, I will get a lot of tension on this, push those crystals where I want them to be, because if you do not arrange it and you do not pull them tightly enough, you're going to see thread coming in and out. You're going to see a little anyway, but you'll see a lot if you do not do this properly. You could always add a little 15-0 here and there if you'd like, but I think that throws off the look of the cross and I don't like it, so I'm not going to do that. Now I'm coming out of my crystals, or my column of 11-0s, I'm going to go into this 11-0 in the center. Pull my thread through, and then I am going to go into these 3 15-0s here and move over to the next columns of 11-0s. So I'll go through this 11-0 in the center here. And now, oops, excuse me, this is where I'm at. I've done 2 of my shorter columns. I'm going to do the third exactly the same way, and then we'll come back and we'll do the 4th one with 4 bicone crystals. So go ahead and finish this arm, come through your 11-0, and we will do the 4th one together. Okay, so as you can see, I finished this embellishment here, and I've come through my 15-0s, and now I am coming out of my 11-0 seed bead, or it was this one actually that I finished. I'm coming out of my 11-0 seed bead after coming through these 15-0s, and now I am ready to do the last arm of my cross. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to sew through 6 11-0 seed beads here. So you got to pick up the bottom 11-0, which is always at a funny angle. Get through it, go through all 6 of your 11-0 seed beads and pull your needle through. Like so. Now we're going to pick up 4 3mm bicone crystals. And we're going to go into the same side of the 11-0 near the column we're coming out of. So we'll go into this side here and pull through. I'm catching a thread I don't want, so there we go. Pull through. and lay them over. These are a little looser because 3 isn't enough and 4 is a little bit too many, but we can make them stay. So now we're coming out of this 11-0. We're going to go through all 4 of these bicone crystals here. Okay, let me do that again. Squirrely little things. Now I'm going to pull my thread through. Going to push my crystals down, and then I'm going to go through this column here. Just like we did the other ones, we're doing it the same exact way. Get a little bit closer. The same exact thing. I'm going to go through all of these. Pull your thread up through. Now you're going to go through your 11-0 seed bead again on the top, on that side nearest the column you just exited. There you go. Just like that. Now, like I said, these crystals are a little looser, but they stay in place nice, so don't worry about it too much. They look fine. And this is what your cross looks like. Now we have to get up to this one on top here so that we can make something to attach our ear wire or our jump ring to make a necklace. So it just depends on which one you're making. So I'm making an earring right now, so I'm going to show you how to attach the ear wire. So what we're going to do, we'll make the bail exactly the same for the pendant too. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew up these 15-0 seed beads again, if we can get through them. Let's see how tight they are. They're okay. So we're going to go through this set of 15-0s again, pull the needle through, and that will tighten our last embellishment some also. I'm going to go through this 11-0 again. Just do this slowly and carefully because you can mangle your piece if you're not careful. Go into these 3 15-0s here. This 11-0 here. And then again we have to go up through the column. We're exiting this side. We're going to go through this column of 11-0s. Get a little closer just so I can show you so that we can get to the back of our piece. So we're going to go up this column right here. I'm going to try to pick up all 4 without mangling my piece too much. I've got 3, so I'm going to go ahead and go through those 3. Make sure your thread didn't catch on anything. Then I'm going to turn my piece over and I'm going to go through the last bead I missed here. And just that bead, I don't want to go through my 15-0s, just the bead in the herringbone. Now I'm going to go ahead and burn down my tail thread just so I don't forget. Protect your working thread, don't let it get near your lighter, and just burn down this tail like so. Now I am coming out of these 3 beads right here. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a little tube in which to make a bail or a connection for my ear wire. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0 seed beads like so. Then, let me untangle my thread here. Then I'm going to go through 3 of the 11-0s in my herringbone. So I'm just going to count down 3. 1, 2, 3. Go through this one here. and they're tight now, so you have to find an opening to get through it. Once you do, the beads are not tight, so you can go right through it. It's just the ends are tight together. Pull these 3 up like so. Go back into these 3 beads and then anchor it to the other column. So go into the 3rd bead in the other column here of 11 O's, like so. Hope I'm staying in frame here. And pull. Now you're going to go down into the 3 you just added again. Excuse me. And you're going to pick up, I know this is an odd bail, but I came up with this just because I don't want to hang anything off of this crystal, because then it kind of distorts the whole shape of the cross. It just doesn't look right. So pick up a 15 O seed bead. We're coming out of these 11 O's. Slide back up the 3 11 O's here. Excuse me. Draw that 15 O up against the bottom of this column that you've just created. Now you're going to pick up 8 15 O seed beads onto your needle. So just pick up 8 of them. I know you can't see me, but I'm over here playing with my 15 O's. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 15 O seed beads. Now I'm coming out of the column. I'm going to go back into the column, like so. I am going to go into this 15 O seed bead here. And then I'm going to go into the 11 O below the 15 O seed bead, and I'm just going to tack it there so that this doesn't move around. Then I'm going to go back up into the 15 O seed bead on the other side here. This is going to turn my 15 O sideways like this. Tack it into place. I'm going to go back up my column and sew around my 15 O's one more time, just to make sure that they have enough thread through them. So I'm just going to go through all of them again. If you distort your little circle, or if it was distorted when you pulled it down, that's okay. We can straighten it out. Let's go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did pick up 8. I thought I picked up 7 there for a minute, sorry. Okay. Then through these 2 on top here. Go through 3, 2, and 3. That kind of helps keep the shape you want. Kind of. And then go back down through the 11 O's. Go into the 15 O. Right on the side of this 15 O, there's a thread. Tie a knot. If you can see that little tiny thread there, I'm just picking it up. It's between the 11 O and the 15 O, and I'm going to tie a knot. Maybe. There we go. Pull that down. Then I'm going to go back into this 11 O. Pull. I'm going to go into these 2 8 O's. Exit. And I am going to cut my thread off, leaving a little extra. Oops, dull scissors. I think I quit putting those out. I always forget that they're dull, but no, I always grab them. Now I'm going to burn down this extra piece of thread here, like so. Then this is the back of my cross. There's the little loop I just made. I'm going to pick up something and put it through my loop just to make it round. Open it up a little bit, like so. Here's the front of my cross. And see, it doesn't distort because I'm not hanging anything off of that crystal there. Because you could hang something there, but then it just doesn't give the right symmetry to the cross anymore. It gives the illusion of this one being as long as this one, and I want it to stay short, so I retain my shape. Now I'm going to pick up an ear wire, and I'm going to open it from side to side, and I'm going to grab a hold of my little loop that I just made and go through it, and then close my ear wire. This is what we have. Nice little earring, and it turns out really cute. And like I said, don't worry about the fact that, oops, let me back off. Don't worry about the fact that there's little tiny pieces of thread. You may be able to see them slightly, not much at all. And when you're wearing them, you're not going to see them at all. So there is one earring. Let me grab its mate. There is the other. Now, of course, the ear wires want to be all weird and not let me have these looking as pretty as I want them to. There we go. And now you're going to make 3 of the crosses. You're going to put ear wires on 2 of them. Then you're going to make your 3rd cross. You are going to put a jump ring on your loop. You're going to make the loop exactly the same, but you're going to put a jump ring on it. That way you can slide a chain through it. You can put it on something that you're beading. Say you want to string something, then you can slide it in the middle of your stringing and have it as your centerpiece. Or you can do as I did. I cut 2 pieces of chain. Let me show you what I did. I cut 2 pieces of chain, exactly the same length. I slid my jump ring onto the circle, and then I put on one side, I put one length of chain, on the other side I put the other length of chain, and I closed my jump ring. And then on this side I just opened the chain and slid it on my toggle clasp. And then I have now a necklace, and I have earrings. And I'll get close so that you can see what they look like. If I can get them arranged pretty. Let's get close. And that is your elegant cross set. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I know that I've used this base unit quite a bit. I'm probably going to use it a couple more times. I have designed a lot from the start of this unit. Everything turns out very differently, each project, but the unit itself, it's really versatile, and so I have decided to use it a million different ways. So anyway, that's how I did this one. I was designing these around Christmas time. However, I never got around to it because I got really very sick with a really bad flu or cold or some crazy thing. And so now I have done it. You can do this in any color, though. It does not have to be Christmassy looking. This I did in fuchsia. You can do it in any color you want. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.